Hey artists, today we are unboxing, swatching, reviewing and painting some beautiful flowers with this Phoenix 24 color watercolor set. So if you want to find out what I think of this set, what colors are in there, and check out the floral painting, please go ahead and watch the video. So this is the watercolor set we will be testing today. The brand is Phoenix. It's professional watercolor 24 pans. I will now unbox for you and we'll start swatching. Okay, so I've just removed it from the cardboard box and it comes in a black metal tin. It's actually got a little sort of like stripes on the cover, I just realized, so it's not purely black. I have several watercolor sets that come in a very similar tin, and you can go and watch my videos. I think I have a Paul Rubens one, Daniel Smith, Winsor & Newton. So this is not a special tin, it's quite common, but I suppose it's metal, so it's not plastic. It's got that feeling of, you know, being a bit professional. So Phoenix, if I'm not wrong, says that they are actually produce paints for other places like Blix and Michaels in America. It's a China company, but their manufacturers are in Vietnam and Cambodia. So this is what the information they have given it to me. And so it's come in 24 colors and it's all wrapped in these paper. So I'm gonna take a while to remove them, but let's see what's in this little pamphlet that's folded. And it says it's got 96 colors in total. So this is 24 out of the 96. Will they have all my favorite colors? Now that is another question. We will find out soon enough. So I'm just speeding up writing down this in my little sketchbook. I like to swatch my paints in a sketchbook so that I can refer to it. And I don't have a specific sketchbook for all my swatches, although I should. I think that's a good practice, but I'm not doing that. Make sure that if you're doing this as well, use a waterproof fine liner so that when you paint over it, it won't smudge. All right, so yeah, let's get to the swatching now. All right, so I have written all the colors, the 24 colors in my sketchbook. This is a 100% cotton Arrtx sketchbook. If you're interested to check out, I did do a review on this one. It's a new one. They just sent it to me and I'm pretty happy with it. So I wanted to try this on cotton sketchbook because, you know, that's like the gold standard, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna spray my paints down just in case you didn't know that this little thing actually is, you can remove this and give you extra mixing well. So this is like the feature of this sort of like metal palette, which is really cute. I also started writing the pigment information here, the pigment number, but then I gave up because you know what? They're actually so super small and tiny. Even with my reading glasses, I couldn't read them and I was getting headaches, so please forgive me. I'm not a big on like pigment information, and I'm not really into all that sort of stuff. So if you are into the pigment information, you can check out the website, but otherwise I'm just going to be swatching this like I usually do in most of my other review videos. So let's begin. The first one is Phoenix Lemon. It's nice and buttery. And it's just important to just tell you that this is the professional level. They have a student grade, which they call artist grade. And I do have a set that they have sent me. Let me show that to you actually. So yeah, so this is actually a pocket watercolor set by Phoenix with 36 colors, and this is actually, they say artist grade, but this is actually the student grade. So I haven't tested this out. I'll look out for a future video. Today we are testing the professional level. Oh, I also forgot. I'm gonna change up the brush because I realized I forgot that they have sent me a whole bunch of brushes, size 0 to size 8, and I thought I might as well just give these a go. So I'm just going to grab one of the middle sizes. I'm just going to grab this size 1. very, very kind of them to send me all these brushes to try out. And I actually have never tried a brush that is sort of like in this, the way it's bound this way. Is it called a quill brush or a mop brush? I don't know, but this is synthetic, and I'm just gonna try it out. It feels very springy, and yeah, let's go. All right, Phoenix Lemon. So I like to put a really bit thick saturation down and then bleed out with water. This way I get to really see it in a gradient wash, and how it can look very, very light. And it's a really nice deep lemon. A lot of brands, when they do the lemon, it's actually much lighter than this, so I appreciate that. Okay, and this one is called Aurelian. I must say it is very similar. It's like, it feels like a lemon yellow again, a bit deeper, a bit warmer. So, okay. And then the next one is New Gamboge. So on the palette, it looks very like gold, but ooh, wow, okay. It is actually really beautiful, warm yellow, bordering on gold. Very bright and vibrant. Very bright and vibrant, and very buttery soft. Okay, next one is Phoenix Orange. Quite opaque. That's the thing about orange. I find that a lot of oranges in all the brands come pretty opaque, and it's not really, I don't really like it. So I'm gonna try to start mixing my own orange. So of course, when you lighten it, it becomes more transparent, obviously. And that's nice. It's a decent orange, okay? Can't complain. Next one is Cat Free Red. Now, I don't really know what cadmium is. I know that's not good for you, and you know, but this one is cat free, so it doesn't have cadmium, but it's super vibrant and a bit opaque. As you can see, it totally covered this wording, and it's not a color that I gravitate towards. I don't really have I don't really use this super bright red in my painting, so but it's pretty nice. Like if I don't have a scarlet, this is probably what I'll use. Permanent Rose, so PV19. This is a color I will always grab. It's my most used color, and it's pretty, very pretty. It is rosy and lush and very nice. Can't complain. Transparent enough as well for my liking. All right, the next one is Quin Magenta, which I am noticing it comes in many sets, and I don't know why I don't actually use it a lot. It's almost like opera / permanent rose, isn't it? Like it's got that cool red, slightly purple, and it's actually a very good color to have in your palette to mix with. So very vibrant, very nice. Now this paper is slightly resisting me, slightly fighting with me, so just noticing that. All right, next one, Phoenix Violet. This looks totally black on the palette, but it is a very nice dioxazine purple, very, very dark, totally useful in all palettes. Next, we have Prussian Blue. Ooh, gorgeous, nice dark Prussian Blue. Very, very good to mix with greens or pinks to make a nice purple, a nice cool blue. Okay, now we're gonna go on to this page now. I have less space, but I've got French Ultramarine, which is a favorite of many artists. I do like it. It's nice. It's so rich, right? So satisfying. Totally, totally yummy. Okay, Phoenix Blue. It's like a almost turquoise, but not really. I don't use this kind of blue a lot, but it's there. It's beautiful. Very nice. Okay, next, cerulean blue. So this one is very nice, basic light blue, like sky blue. Nice. A lot of cerulean blue I find is quite opaque. So this one is nice and transparent. I like it. So there's no granulation in these colors. They're pretty, standard, sort of like very even and smooth, which is fine for my style. I don't seek too much granulation. Cobalt turquoise. Ooh, look at that. This is very, very nice and buttery. Punchy, fun. I love a turquoise. I wish I just use a bit more of this. Very nice. I like that. Okay, I'm just going to spray down one more time because I have the aircon, the heater on behind me, and it's making everything pretty dry really quickly. All right, Phoenix Green blue shade. So this one is very Viridian. Oh, shoot, that was the wrong one. Back to Viridian. All right, Viridian is your jewel tone green. Very bright. I don't use this color a lot personally, but it's there if you want to mix it. This is Phoenix Green yellow shade. It's still super bright, super like, whoa, very nice. Okay, next, Hookah's Green. I like Hookah's Green in general. Hookah's Green is more natural looking green. I would almost call this a sap green. I would so use this in my leaves, totally. And then we have sap green, which is a little bit more olive, a little bit more olivey than Hookah's Green, and I love it. It's good. It's a good green. Nice, thick, buttery sap green. I love sap green. Nice and transparent greens. Do like it? Okay, now we're going to the earth tones, yellow ochre. Now, a lot of yellow ochre is a bit too opaque for my liking, and this is one of it. So I think there's just something in the pigment of yellow ochre that makes it just more opaque. But it is what it is. It's nice. When you water it down, it's nice. Okay, raw umber, which also, it's quite hard to get a opaque, nice, thick raw umber that's rich. But I think that's also like the property of the pigment of raw umber. So nice and natural, more of a sandy, earthy tone. And then burnt umber, which is a color I use a lot in my florals. Very nice. Nice and buttery burnt umber. Nothing wrong there. Indian red. Wow, super, super opaque, which I suppose this is the quality of Indian red. I don't use it as much. Again, this is people who probably paint more landscapes. And then Van Dyke brown. Oh, yummy. So I always like to mix my burnt umber with sepia to make a dark brown, and this Van Dyke brown is probably what I am trying to achieve all the time for a dark brown. So I love it. I love this Van Dyke brown. I'm vibing. Payne's gray. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Okay, so this set does not have indigo, but it has this Payne's gray, which is very similar to indigo. So there we go. Stunning. And then finally, lamp black. I don't use black a ton, but nothing wrong with black. Black has its place. And stunning, rich, and gorgeous. All right, so overall, what do I think of this set? I there's a lot of colors that I will use. The only colors that I probably don't have here that I always use is Opera Rose, but then it's really hard to get Opera in a basic set because it's one of those colors that are, you know, unusual and surprising, and they're not very light fast either, so they would not usually include that in a set. So the reds, I would also usually have a scarlet leg, but I suppose the cat-free red is leaning warm, so I could possibly use that. And I don't have a sepia, but this Van Dyke brown is pretty nice and dark enough for me to get that color as well. The blues are great. The yellow is perfect. I don't have any issues with them. So will I recommend this set? I think so. So online now, this is $39 US dollars, and I believe it's only available in the US now. A pretty decent set, $39 US dollars for all these colors in this cute little tin. Professional, I really think it's a good buy. Alright, so I'm going to try out these paints on an actual painting. I'm going to just look at this reference from this gorgeous book called Still Life by Doanne Lai. I have made a video reviewing this book. Go and check it out. I'll put it in the description below. You can watch after this. So I'm just going to use this beautiful photograph just to get me started. I don't know what the composition will be like. It'll be just very loose, very free. And let's put that aside. So the actual painting took about 12-15 minutes to do, but in this YouTube version, I'm just going to speed it up about 10 times and shorten some parts just to give you a gist of how the whole thing went. I'm actually using these brushes that they sent me as well. These beautiful nylon synthetic brushes that I am trying out. Overall, I found the paints very easy to work with. They were buttery, easy to activate, very vibrant, very bright. I struggled a little bit with the greens because the greens were just not what I'm used to. And I'm also not used to this brush, to be honest. So I found the leaves a little bit difficult to get to. So I had that little beginner's struggle. But overall, like I said, you know, I can't fault these paints. They're pretty good. If I was a beginner, I would definitely choose this over other student grade paints because to me, vibrancy and how alive they feel is really, really important for my style of art. So yeah, if you're interested to follow along, the real-time version is on my Patreon. All the everything, every time I do a review here and I do a little speed-up version, the full-length version is always on my Patreon. So if you're a patron and you're watching this and you want to paint with me, go check it out on our Patreon post. Otherwise, I really hope you enjoyed this beautiful painting. I certainly enjoyed painting it. Okay, so super loose, super quick. I can faff around a little bit more with it, add more details, more fun stuff, but I'm just going to leave it for this video. That's the review of the Phoenix 24 color watercolor set. A little painting with it. Do I recommend it for 39 bucks? Sure, why not? Before you go, I wanted to share with you that Phoenix also makes these watercolor canvas. So I have never tried watercolor canvas before. I've only ever tried paper. So I'm very excited to be testing these out. But this video is getting too long. I couldn't do it together. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out when I try out these canvases. If you want to try out these Phoenix paints, I do have a discount code and the links all in the description below. So I hope you enjoyed this video, this review. Let me know what you think and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.